As long as the written word has existed, and likely even before then, mankind has made a habit of storytelling. It's not hard to imagine our ancestors gathered around the warmth and safety of an open fire, listening to tribal leaders and elders tell stories. Stories were used to entertain and educate, to record history, pay tribute to triumphs, and respect to lives lost. Stories are so ingrained into who we are as a species, our need to create and share stories has seen them evolve from the spoken word to cave drawings and beautiful handwritten manuscripts. Storytelling gave root to its own branch of the humanities called literature. It helped to drive the invention of the printing press and gave rise to penny dreadfuls and dime novels. With the arrival of the 21st century, we haven't lost our desire and need for storytelling, but it has evolved into its newest form, the ebook. We now live in a day and age when everything is faster and smaller. Computers have gone from huge room-sized contraptions to something small enough to carry in a hand or tuck in a pocket. The internet has created opportunities for us to connect to each other in ways we could never have before imagined. So it really comes as no surprise that once someone realized that books and stories could be digitized and then quickly and easily distributed, that modern society embraced the ebook. But the ebook, like most technology, has its pros and cons. The modern reader with an e-reader, computer, or smartphone in hand can now access millions and millions of books and stories in a matter of seconds. For them, it means they can read as much as they want, or as little as they want, no matter where they are or the time of day. It means no more deciding which books to keep and which to give away because there's only so much room on a bookshelf, or which books to take and which to leave at home because you can only carry so many with you at a time. Ebooks have changed the publication process. For authors with access to digital publishing platforms like CreateSpace or Smashwords, it meant they were no longer dependent upon the acceptance of a manuscript by a publisher or agent. And with another technology called print on demand, they were no longer hindered by the high cost of vanity publishing. A new generation of writers and authors, often referred to as indie or independent authors, is slowly but surely changing the face of literature. But the ebook hasn't been a positive experience for everyone. It has led to the near destruction of the brick-and-mortar bookstore, and it has forced publishing companies to restructure production and pricing as they are now forced to compete with thousands and thousands of new authors. Amazon, the single largest ebook retailer in the United States, has dominated the market and in recent times even gone into battle with the big five traditional publishing houses over the pricing of books sold on their site. So in terms of its interpretive flexibility, ebooks are a limitless supply of stories for those who love to read, an unparalleled opportunity for independent authors who want to be storytellers to the world, a constant source of competition for those involved in the publication of books through more traditional methods, and a veritable nuclear bomb for those who used to sell books for a living. There are also many disadvantages to ebooks. Whereas printed books only require light and a desire to read an ebook you need some kind of electronic device, and if the battery, say on your e-reader or cell phone dies, you can't read. The enormous influx of new titles also creates conflict for the reader. How do they know which book to choose? How do they know the quality of the book they are buying is worth the money spent? Just because it looks like an ebook and downloads like an ebook doesn't mean it isn't full of grammatical errors or poorly written prose. This has affected the relationship between readers and authors and the big publishing companies. Readers trust that the production quality of something professionally produced will be high, but they are sometimes left wanting by independently published books. Another issue that has proved problematic for authors and publishing companies alike is pricing. Driven by big retailers like Amazon and the mass competition among authors, we now live in a time when consumers are willing to pay $5 for a cup of coffee, but not more than a couple of dollars for a well-produced book. So while ebooks have created a platform that has given voice to thousands of new storytellers, it has also devalued the prestige of being a published author. The growing popularity of ebooks has also seen a rise in pirating and plagiarism. With just a few clicks, books can be uploaded to sites that allow users to download books for free. There are other sites that steal digital copies of books and sell them, completely eliminating any author royalties. And while plagiarism has always been a crime in the literary world, recent times has seen an uptick in the number of unscrupulous authors willing to steal a manuscript and pass it off as their own. Ebooks have affected our behavior. They've changed the way we think about books. During the Middle Ages, when books were transcribed by monks, they were valuable objects to be treasured. Even into the modern age, a vast library was usually associated with wealth, intelligence, and the spirit of learning. Ebooks with their virtual pages locked inside a battery-powered device give us a gateway to more books than we could ever read, but once turned off, all of those books are quickly out of sight and out of mind. It's interesting to note that even with the invention of the ebook and the quick proliferation of e-readers like the Kindle and Nook, Americans are reading less today than we were in generations past. It takes more than simply putting words on paper to create a good book, but with so many regular people now interested in sharing their own unique stories with the world, perhaps we'll see a rise in reading. Or perhaps that same drive to tell stories will lead us back to where it all began, gathered around a fire, listening to the life and time of characters we might not otherwise ever have had the chance to hear.